Alright, ladies, gentlemen, gamers, and League of Legends enthusiasts. Welcome back! I'm still recovering from my COVID post-sickness, which I'm gonna have a cough for months, so we're gonna hear me make all sorts of noises here, and I'm choosing to abstain from my dinner because I decided to react to patch notes instead for your viewing pleasure. I'm literally starving myself because I haven't eaten all day, and it's 9 p.m. and I'm hungry, but patch notes comes first. For some reason, it's not on the client, which is why we're doing it on the website this time, but it is what it is. You'll also notice, if you have a privy eye, that we've updated the thumbnail. So going forward, hopefully, I'll remember to do this, but we're going to put a new thumbnail that yours truly and the Holy Hairline helped make. We collaborated, we used our artistic genius together to create a very nice thumbnail for these patch notes, because the quality has to go up and maybe we can draw in suckers, cool people, to come and watch these things. And also watch me on Twitch TV/Tecnics channel, where I stream live every day, mostly at night at varying times, but usually every day. But anyway, without further ado, let's get into the patch notes and let's react to them. Hopefully I'm going to go quick with this because I've spent the last 2 hours making content that no one's going to watch, but I've been making it anyway. So, hopefully I can eat dinner soon. Get ready for an out-of-this-world patch, because the stars have aligned and the Aurelian Soul CGU is here. For those of you who don't remember what a CGU is a... I don't remember, but it's basically a gameplay update. It is a gameplay update. They're not really updating the visuals too much of the actual character. Obviously, they have to change the ability visuals, but the character still pretty much looks the same. Him and his skins. They're pretty much the same. The effects are going to be different because they changed the abilities, but that's about it. But wait! That's not it! There's more! We have Ari's ASU for confirmed 100% fluffier tails. This is not a legally binding claim. Buffs for a few struggling melee supports, thank God. Nerfs to some popular items like Umbral Glaive and Radiant Virtue. And you know what's ironic? I just made a video where I touch on Umbral Glaive and Radiant Virtue and just ADC marksman in the bot lane in general. I'll go over it again if we have an AD change, and if not, I'll probably just mention it at the end a little bit, but go watch that video. It's a good video. It's where I complain and get angry. But anyway, sweeping tenacity tweaks, and now you can surrender at 15 minutes if 4 or 5 players agree. Oh, sweet Jesus. As always, thanks for reading, and see you on the Rift. So, what are they doing here? We're working to bounce back from the social engineering attack, but unfortunately, patch 13.3 will be delayed. Okay. We apologize for the inconvenience and want to thank you. So, from what I've heard from my sources, I heard it's getting delayed by a day. So, instead of coming out on Thursday, it's going to be out on Friday. Mid-patch updates. Patch 13.3 will go live a day later than usual. Okay, well, my sources were right. That will be the morning of Thursday the 9th for all Riot regions and the morning of Friday the 10th for SCA. Okay, never mind. I thought it was going to be Friday. It was Thursday because usually it's Wednesday. I was wrong. But that's okay. Patch 13.3. So, I'm going to be honest. It on the site looks a lot better than on the client. It looks bigger. And it takes up the whole fucking screen. But anyway, we got new skins, which now that Surrender at 20 is literally dead, as you might see right here. Right here, it hasn't been updated since November 14th. Rest in peace, Surrender at 20. I will remember you well and hope one day you will come back. I really feel bad for Mubeed, man. Riot needs to hire him. I don't know why they don't. But anyway, yeah, so we got some new skins. I have no clue how they look. I've heard of them. I didn't know there was a Mumu one. That's kind of cool. But let's keep going. Let's see what's happening. So, Aurelian Soul, finally. The Star Dragon has been remade. I'm going to repeat a lot of stuff I've said before and hopefully include some new stuff. So let's see what we're doing here. So his CGU is here. We hope you enjoy his stellar scaling, new and improved abilities, and absolutely breathtaking ultimate. So I've already sort of reacted to his abilities on YouTube, so you can go check that reaction out. I'm not going to go too in-depth on them, but I will say what they do and what I think of them. So Aurelian's Q... Well, first of all, Aurelian's whole kit, he now infinite scales in different ways. He has a similar scaling effect to Senna, where like you collect a certain thing, a certain currency, sort of. And the more you collect that, which is infinite, the more your abilities get improved in certain ways. It's similar to Senna, it's similar to Bard, and it's similar to Kindred in a way. The way you get it is you damage enemies. So here's what it does. The Q will deal additional max health damage. So the Q is going to be a nuking thing. The W, you will increase the distance you go, which is pretty cool. The E, which is probably the most ridiculous thing of his whole kit, barring the ultimate. His whole kit seems actually really good. If the numbers aren't weak, he seems like he's going to be insane. But his E is basically going to increase in size and have a bigger execute threshold, which can go to 100. I don't think it could do that in a regular game, but I've seen on the PvE, people have tested it out. It can actually kill you at 100% health. It is wild. And then the R, it just has increased area. I think that is one of the biggest downsides of what they did. They should have made his ult scale infinitely in damage, not in size. But they decided to put it on the E. So you know what? They put it somewhere at least, and on the Q. They put 2 infinite damage scaling things in his kit, the E and the Q. I wish they put it on his ultimate, because this is what old Aurelion Sol suffered from. You would spend a lot of effort to make his old Q a giant fucking lane-wide star to, like, you know, get people and just to have a big dick. And then you pop it, and they take like 2 damage, and yeah, the stun would be pretty nice, because they eventually had to buff that in. But the damage did not represent the giant fucking galaxy that was hitting them square right in the jaw. So that was a little bit of a missed opportunity. I think it's not as big of a missed opportunity here, but it could have been better. But anyway, the Q. So I'm not going to go over scaling, but basically he breathes fire at you. And as long as he's doing it to you for an extended period of time, he's going to do bonus damage. Think of Vel'Koz ult. It's like Vel'Koz ult, just shorter range, and I don't think it goes through things. But the longer he has it on you, the like you stack up and get a burst of damage, essentially. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Anyway, the W. You fly around. It's basically the old D. So it's fine. Let me actually see. So while you're Wing, you can also use the Q, and you can fly and breathe fire, and the breathing fire has no cooldown, and you can use it forever as long as you're flying, and it does more damage. It's fucking crazy. And Aurelion Sol has sort of a reset. They took away the full reset, but he has sort of a reset now. It's 90%, which is pretty good. The E, which I think is probably the coolest part of his ability, he summons a black hole that sucks you in. The more stacks he has, the bigger it is that it sucks you in, and the more health threshold it gets for executing you. So overall, pretty good. And then the R, probably, again, a little bit of a missed opportunity, but still really cool, is he drops a giant fucking star on the ground, and he hurts you, right? Now, after you get 75... you're going to transform this into the Skies Descend, which sounds pretty fucking cool. And he's going to drag a bigger star, which is going to not only hurt you and knock you up, it's also going to cause a giant tsunami wave that's going to damage everyone on what is approximately half the map of range. Which is almost like a Karthus ulti. Now again, it doesn't increase in damage, which is kind of a little sad, but the size of it, oh mama. And I believe it's only the initial size that changes. I don't think it's the Skies Descend size, aka the ripple, the giant tsunami wave. I think the tsunami wave is always consistent. I think the initial size is the only thing that changes. But still pretty good. He is a scaling champion. I believe he's going to be pretty fun. And when he comes out, I will actually probably try and play him. If not mid lane, I'm a little scared of mid. I might go him top. But yeah, I'm very excited for Asol. Very good job what they did. I'm sad they got rid of the toggleable stars, but, you know, new Asol. What can we do? Amumu! What do we think of Amumu? I think Amumu is sort of whatever. I haven't seen him too much. I think he's pretty good. As long as he has the 2 charges on his Q, he can always go support. And he's a decent jungler, because if he fucks up the gank, he has another shot at it now. Where, you know, before it was kind of like Lee Sin. Lee Sin misses his Q. I mean, he can still ward hop too, but like, even Lee Sin had more options than Amumu. If you miss your Q on Amumu, you just walk away crying in shame. But I think he's not that good. But I don't know. I haven't seen too much of him. But when I see him, he does what he needs to do. He goes in, he locks people down, and then that's pretty much it. Maybe if he's lucky, he gets another Q in if he, like, lasts long enough. But that's pretty much where it's at. The only problem I could see being with him is if he does too much damage, maybe. But I don't think he does. So let's see. Let's see what they're doing. They're nerfing his Q cost, which is fine, I think. And they are nerfing the E damage early, but increasing it later. Let's see why they're doing this. We adjusted Amumu at the end of last season so the sad mummy could find some friends. However, he seems to have found too many, so we're nerfing him in both roles. Wow. I still think he's pretty decent, though. Not as good as a support, but I still think he's a decent jungle. Although, if you get a Mumu support, like I've said in my other videos, I don't want to mention it yet because we haven't gone to an AD change yet, but basically the AD role sucks and no actual supports are being played. ADCs are being played as supports now. So, even though he's going to be worse as support, more so than jungle, I still pray to God to get an Amumu support. Fuck having ADCs as support. No more Caitlyn support, man. Okay, Annie. Oh my sweet Jesus Christ, this is going to be so fucking long. Annie has been struggling to pick up wins, even when she's matched against opponents that she could have the advantage against. We're giving one of League's oldest champions some much-needed quality-of-life buffs to her shield and her passive. And they're bumping up Tibbers' durability for later game fights. I actually think that's really important. Tibbers should be like one of the main focal points of her kit, and you kind of just forget him or kill him in the team fights because there's so much shit happening. The intent is to buff Annie in ways that aren't just upfront burst damage, but we'll be keeping an eye out to make sure these changes bring her power to bear. Excuse me. So she's getting the Quinn treatment when she respawns, and when she spawns in, she has fully charged passive. I don't know why that wasn't the case already, but fuck it. Because you're just going to spam W until you get it anyway in the beginning of the game. So, the E, what are they doing to the E? They're increasing the shield on it. That's pretty good. The cooldown is going down. That's really good. The retaliation magic damage is going even further up, and it's scaling pretty hard off AP. That is actually pretty big. That is a lot of damage. Holy shit. When Molten Shield is active, enemies whose basic attacks hit the shield receive magic damage. To when Molten Shield is active, enemies whose basic attacks and spells hit you receive magic. Okay, so Annie's kind of becoming almost like a sort of tank in the mid lane. Holy shit. I'm actually curious if because of these changes, Riot starts like making tank Annie players, excuse me, or like hybrid tank Annie players, because this sounds kind of ridiculous. E Molten Shield will now only inflict damage against opponents once per target per shield. Wait, what? Wait, so it only hurts you once? E Molten Shield will now only inflict damage against opponents once per target per shield. Tibbers' duplicated shield counts as a new shield and can inflict damage once per target per shield. Okay, so no wonder they're making the damage so high, because the retaliation magic damage, imagine you're someone like Jinx, right? That's like just autoing Annie. This is better than a Thorn Mail, so you're actually going to die even worse to this than a Thorn Mail, but it's only one, so it makes sense why it's so big. It's like a trap sort of thing. Like, okay, you hit me while I had my shield up. Fuck you, now you're getting punished for it. This actually might be too big, though. I can honestly see them nerfing this damage in the future. Because you basically have a shield, right? So you're going to win any trade when you have it on. Unless they try and get the shield off you and do more damage. But at that point, they're taking a good amount of damage themselves. Especially with a 40% AP scaling. Just from hitting you with anything. Like, holy shit, that's insane. And it could proc twice because of Tibbers. That's actually wild. But anyway, what are they doing to Tibbers? He now scales off AP with health. That's insanely good. So his armor and MR also scale off AP. That's pretty good. And now he has a lot more move speed. Well, not a lot more, but decent amount more move speed. And he still gets like Tibbers' Horny Rush when Annie stuns someone. Honestly, Annie's really good. These actually are really good quality of life changes. Holy shit. So right now we're 2 for 2 in terms of like good things that have happened. Amumu isn't necessarily a bad one though. Like it's a nerf, but it's not a terrible nerf. So far this patch is pretty good. 13 point, what is this? 3? Pretty good. Pretty good. J4. I think J4 is weak. He's too simple. He needs a rework plan to his fantasy. They need to give, like, J4 a fucking CGU. He looks like shit, too. They could definitely rework him and make him a lot cooler. What are they doing? Golden Aegis hasn't been the shiniest ability in League's history. Yeah, it's just a straight shield slow. It's boring. Jarvan's W has been intentionally kept a bit underwhelming as it is a great defensive spell for low economy junglers in pro play. However, since the durability update, Jarvan's needed to fill the role of a relevant backline threat. So he needs to do more damage, I guess? Or he just does more damage. So what are they doing? They're buffing up his tank. They're reducing the cooldown of his W. The shield strength is going up, and it scales off AD, so you're incentivized even more to one-shot the ADC because you're going to build damage. And the duration is going down by 1. Overall, pretty good change. This is going to build Jarvan more into a damage dealer. I think Jarvan should honestly just be, even though he has armor, he looks like a knight, he should just be a nuker. He should just fly in like a raging animal, ult you, and one-shot you. He should be, in my opinion, the AD Malphite. The AD equivalent of full AP Malphite. And honestly, it looks like they're leading him towards that. This is pretty good. Because even by building offensively, he gains defensive things. Which is, 80% bonus AD. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Cassante. So, Cassante came out. He was kind of really trash for a while. I don't know if they hotfixed him or whatever. He's a really weird champion. I think he's a really nuanced champion, and you need to play him and actually understand what the fuck you're doing, or just pick him into a tank, because I feel like he does well against those. But he has been spammed to no end in competitive play, and I think I know why. I think the main issue is he can ult a person, namely the ADC or the mid laner. He builds full tank anyway, right? But his ult transforms him into a damage-dealing hybrid, like, fighter, where you're not going to be able to kill him, but he's going to be able to kill you, and he can get you in a 1v1. It's almost similar to Mordekaiser ult in that sense. It does something very, very similar to Mord ult, where it basically gets you by yourself, which is good, for him. But it's not good for balance, because maybe it's too strong, because everyone is using it. So what are they doing? Cassante has too much CC right now. That's very true. Which allows him to lock down opponents too effectively, so we're tapping down his numbers to make him a little less oppressive. These changes should also help make Tenacity more effective against him. Lastly, we're dropping his durability when he goes all out to fight enemies, to emphasize the need for him to isolate his enemies. So I guess it was the case where he was still so strong, I guess with the, the Omni Vamp he gets, where he still wouldn't die even if he ulted, which is kind of strange. But again, he is building full tank and scaling off of it. So his health growth is going up, so he's scaling harder in health. His Q knockup is going down to below a second, and his stun duration is going down as well. This is fine. The minimum stun duration on the W is going down by 0.25 later on. I mean, at that point, if you're gonna have it be that low, why even include it anyway, right? But I guess it would interrupt like channels and stuff, so fuck it. And then his R, all out. So instead of being 65 of his bonuses resistances, he's using 85% of them. That is not a small amount. You're basically only left with 15% of your tank. Before it was what? 35? Now it's 15. That is a big nerf. I don't think they should have nerfed him that hard, but you know what? Fuck Cassante. I don't play him. I don't give a fuck. Kassadin, I feel like ever since they changed Kassadin, he's been kind of crazy. I've seen him a lot, and I've heard he's doing pretty well, so I expect him to get nerfed here. Even after his nerfs last patch, Kassadin continues to Kassa win. These nerfs are targeting 2 of his core strengths, his ability to trade effectively in the early game, which is supposed to be his weakest, and the ability to spam E in the late game, which is supposed to be the fantasy. So we're bringing down the power of both. Fook. So the E base damage is going down by 20 early. That is a big amount. And then the cooldown from nearby cast, instead of 1, it's 0.75. Honestly, that's fair, because late game, some people could just spam spells like crazy, and you'd have your E always up. And if you're late game Kassadin, you're already really fucking strong. So I think them tapping this down isn't too bad. And then Rift Walk, they're taking down the damage by 10, Riot's favorite number. Their second favorite number is 5. And then the bonus damage per stack is going down as well. So overall, he's just doing less damage. Honestly, this is fine. I think Cassian, if he's good and if he gets to late game and he's too strong, it's literally impossible. Unless you're like a level 16 Kale, and even then he could still play around you because he could just ult around you. But Cassian is one of the few people where if you get to late game and he's like a little overtuned or if he's fed, you just lose. Like if the Cassian's not brain dead, you just lose. Anyway, what do I think of Kale? I hope Kale gets buffed because Kale is kind of not that strong, and I like her. Kale's been feeling a little less than angelic lately, so we're looking to grant some skill expression to make her stronger. Oh, I hope they're doing what I think they're doing. So, what I saw that Riot August was thinking of, I think his name is Riot August, was increasing the ult range, like the range of the sword drop down to your auto range. So your ult actually upgrades and does like a wide area of damage, not just a small area, like later on in the game. I think that would be a really cool change. I hope that actually goes through though, but let's see. So her passive, the exalted move speed, is going from 8 to 10. That doesn't seem like a lot, and honestly it's not too much, but you gotta remember there's things in the game like Wind Drake, and move speed is very criminally undervalued most of the time. But still, this is pretty fucking wiener. The E is going up in AP scaling. So you're more incentivized to build AP on her, and you're getting buffed if you do so. It's alright. I mean, yeah, this is alright. This is fine. Kale's, I guess, slightly better. Kayn! What do I think of Kayn? I think Shadow Assassin... I'm going to just repeat the same things I always say. Shadow Assassin sucks. Red Kayn is always the way to go. Unless they have a full team of squishies, even then you could still go Red Kayn. Blue Kayn should not ever be used, unless it's a full team of squishies. That's the only time I can ever see it. Red Kayn is just so much better in all scenarios. Like, he'll end up doing more damage unless he's Giga Fed, but if you're Giga Fed, you're going to be winning on anyone. But it's, do you want to have fun, or do you want to have fun and win? And if you want to have fun and win, you play Red Kayn. Anyway, what are we seeing? Shadow Kayn hasn't been the terror in the shadows he once was, suffering particularly hard in lower skill brackets. We're giving him a bit more AD scaling to support the arguably edgier version without giving Ross too much power. Interesting. So they're giving him AD scaling, but that is going to help Ross, so I don't understand this. So what are they giving Shadow Assassin? You do post-mitigation extra damage as repeated magic damage. So it's very similar to Yon's thing, but that's, you know, just as passive. But they're buffing it by 5% later on. I mean, it's alright. If they put it to 50, it'll be better, because that'll be a 10% buff. But they don't want to make Blue Kayn too strong, which is fine. And then the Q. The Q is going up in AD scaling. This will not affect Rost's damage as he has separate Q values. Oh, never mind. Okay, I was completely wrong. So this actually helps AD Kayn a lot. I think AD Kayn personally, or sorry, not AD Kayn. God, I hope he doesn't go balling. And ironically enough, we haven't seen any marksman changes yet. I think Shadow Assassin Kayn should shit damage. He should be like a glass cannon. He should be like your tried and true assassin, where like, if they grab you, you're gonna die. But first they have to grab you. And like, before they do that, you should be nuking, crapping, diarrhea-ing damage on the enemy. That's what you should be doing. And I think, you know what? I'm gonna make a bold assertion here. They should put this shit to fucking 90. I mean, granted, it hits twice, right? But, yo, man, make Blue Kayn fucking worth it. Even though it's going to end out worse for me, I'm not really an AD player for now. LeBlanc. What do I think of LeBlanc? I think the durability update kind of put the nail in the coffin for her. Because she already was having kind of a tough time assassinating some people. She wasn't that good. I don't really know why. But I don't see her at all, and that's good. I don't want to see her. But if there's a good LeBlanc, oh my sweet God, it is scary. I feel like, even though for some reason we're not seeing her, I feel like a late game LeBlanc will shit damage. The only thing is, look at late game LeBlanc versus late game Cassian, right? LeBlanc, you have to do all this like trials and tribulations. You have to land the chain on them. You have to wait for it to pop after like Q, then W. Like, you have to do a bunch of bullshit and wait. Kassadin, I hop on them, I E, I W them, they're dead within like 0.5 seconds. So why the fuck would I want to play LeBlanc, right? But let's see. Let's see what they're doing. LeBlanc has been struggling across all skill brackets, and now that she hasn't been a constant pro threat, we're comfortable giving her access to a bit more mana. This should help LeBlanc win some of her tougher lanes, snowball, and give her access to more wave clear. It's like they give LeBlanc $1 and they're saying, yeah, this is going to solve her poverty, but let's see if it actually will. The mana regen's going up, the mana regen growth is going up. I don't know how much that means, I wish they would tell us, but whatever. The mana cost of Q is 50 at all ranks. That's actually pretty fucking huge, combined with the base stat. And then the R, the Mimic, is going down in cooldown early and mid. By 10 seconds and 5 seconds, Riot's number 1 and 2 favorite numbers. Honestly, she's a bit better, but nowhere where she was. They're not changing necessarily damage values. They're just changing how much she could do it. Which is, I guess, okay. I don't think she's going to be too good still. Okay, here we go with fucking blind fuck. This character needs to be removed or reworked. He is shit the way he is. He's going to remain shit. I hate his kid. His kid is bad. He is not a team player. He is a selfish dick. And he's terrible. So I don't even care what they're doing to him, but let's read it anyway. Lee Sin rarely gets to be strong in the hands of mere mortals since his skill cap is so high. We don't want to lower his skill expression, so by granting him more damage in mid-game and a bit more utility in late game, so they're buffing the Q and the W, I think. We're hoping he can find success even without 300 APM kick combos. Okay. So they're upping his scaling of the Q to 110. This is what fucking Kane should have, honestly. Blue Kane. But whatever. And then the minimum damage is now scaled up to 110% bonus AD. Okay, cool. So the maximum damage is still double the damage of the value of the minimum. So he's doing 10% more damage if he builds AD. Cool. Which he shouldn't be building anyway because then he just dies. Anyway, what are they doing to E? The E is going... What the... Oh, I see what they're doing. So it's going down in total damage and base because it's going into total AD scaling instead of bonus. Okay. And then the slow is going higher to, oh my god, 80%. Okay, that slow is kind of insane. Holy shit. By slapping the ground, you get slowed by 80%. Like, if Lee Sin slaps the ground near you, that's how hard he's slapping it. Jesus. Lee Sin still sucks, though. Don't play him. I'm gonna be like Kamala Harris. Don't do it. Don't play him. Stop. Okay, Trundle. What do I think of Trundle? I saw Hairline play Trundle recently. I think Trundle is just pretty, you know, by the books. He's an old champion. He has his strengths. He has his weaknesses. He counters tanks. He's also a squishy bully. He's pretty fun. Honestly, I hope they don't change him in a bad way because he's actually pretty fun in the times that he does win. Trundle hasn't really felt like the Troll King after various system nerfs. So they affected his top lane. So reverting the uptime of Frozen Domain, so he feels a bit like his old self, but not like his classic because that was ugly. So what are they doing? The cooldown of W is going down by 2 seconds. That's not bad. The W is basically his bread and butter. It's what allows him to do a lot of stuff in his kit. It improves his healing, his move speed, his attack speed. I don't think it does anything to his damage, but I'm not sure. But I don't think it does. I haven't played Trundle in a while. But overall, this is really good. This is going to increase his mobility, his escape, his engage, his healing, his survivability. Almost everything gets changed from his W, honestly. They need to make the W the focal point of his kit because God knows his ult isn't. His ult is cool, but again, it's only really effective against the tank, and you can't even really notice it sometimes. But it does help. But anyway, what are they doing? What else is this? Show me your moves. Trundle's dance speed now scales with Trundle's move speed. That's gonna look fucking ridiculous. That is amazing. See, now we're getting into changes where we're fun again. Riot's becoming a little fun again. I like this. This is good. Zac. So I've seen Zac go Radiant Virtue and then go anywhere he wants because that item with him, I guess, is really good for some reason. So I'm assuming either the item or him is going to get nerfed, or maybe even both. But let's see. Because Radiant Virtue's been looking like it's been used a little too often. Zac has the elastic slingshotted into a top tier jungle. I always thought he was. The recent demonic embrace nerfs brought down his power slightly, but he's still overperforming. They're reducing some of his scaling damage as the game continues. Okay, well, he is a tank. Or he could still build AP, but he's actually going to have to spec more into it. So what are they doing? The magic damage is now going down in scaling. Okay, that's fine. It's 1%, whatever. It's not like you're building massive amounts of AP anyway. And then your E is also going down by 10% in scaling and 20 in base damage. 20 is like their third favorite number. Honestly, you shouldn't be building AP on Zac anyway. I know it's fun, and it was kind of OP. I will admit here, Riot's completely right here. It is OP that a guy as tanky and as survivable as Zac with his little blobs and his passive being up can do the damage that he does, especially because a lot of his shit is AoE and percent health already. I think this is actually fine. It's only by 1% too, so it's not too bad. With the W, the E is sort of whatever. Okay, Radiant Virtue, what did I just say? This shit is going to get nerfed. Radiant Virtue is currently overpowered, even if pick rate isn't reflecting it. Oh, I thought Riot only cared about the stats, the statistics. Yet its strength isn't really appreciable due to how unclear the item's best points are. Because when you buy a strong item, you should feel strong. We're making Radiant Virtue's upside more apparent and impactful while removing extraneous power. We feel enchanters already have plenty of defensive support items. Yeah, what about tanks? Well, Radiant Virtue is meant for selfless tanks, that's true, who have fewer. So we're tying Radiant's value more directly tied to tanks within budget. So, okay, they're increasing the cost, okay. The Guiding Light passive cooldown, which was supposed to be the part that made you selfless, is now 90 seconds, so you can't really be selfless as often as you want. Okay, maximum health from the stupid passive is now going up to 15, which is not bad, not bad. You're getting 15 health instead of 10. And now the healing is going to 12% over 9 seconds, so they're equalizing it. It's better early, worse late, which I don't know if I agree with. Although you are getting more health, so it is still technically buffed. And then the ability haste is just flat out removed. I don't know if this works with this item. I think the item, I don't really understand why it was strong. Honestly, this is the only thing that really stumps me so far. I didn't think this was too good either. I didn't really see too many people playing with it, but again, I'm in losers queue shit low elo hell, so I don't really know. I'm just going to assume this is good what they did, maybe a little overboard, but who knows. Umbral Glaive, this is one of the things that is making ADCs go into the support role. So, we had no marksman changes, so I'm just going to briefly mention what I said in my other video. ADCs are so bad they've become relegated to supports, and they're not even good unless in pro play, and the ADC class sucks. The three things in AD that are making it good as support is Umbral Glaive, because at that point you can clear vision really easily and you get early damage and lethality, which again is for early game, right? Hail of Blades and Serrated Dirk. All things centered more towards the early game is why you're picking them, because in pro play they can actually abuse it and they know what they're doing, so it works out, but in regular play it's god awful. I've seen Caitlyn support, Jhin support, Twitch support, MF support, Ashe support. The only ones that were legitimate were Ashe and MF, and even then they were still considered troll picks. Now everyone's going them, and again, they suck ass and they're losing. They need to nerf this shit, and they need to stop ADC being shit, and simultaneously they need to buff tank supports and engage supports, because all we're seeing down there is enchanters and mages, and Riot just doesn't care about the bot lane. It's like that famous clip from Kanye West when he was talking about George W. Bush, I think. He said, President Bush does not care about black people. I feel the same exact way with Riot Games. Riot Games does not care about ADCs. Except when they start, you know, pushing their boundaries. If they're so bad that they go other lanes, they take them out of the AD role and they make them that role, Graves and Quinn. But when everyone else goes into the bot lane, Riot doesn't give a shit. They like it. They like the stupid Heimer support. Like, what is this? But anyway, Umbral Glaive is currently much too effective at choking out enemy vision for assassin supports, and especially, and here it is, they mentioned it, marksman supports. Stop killing my defenseless ward's Ashe. We do think this item deserves a spot on the roster though, so we're reducing its uptime and general ability to devastate enemy traps and vision. I did think the item was really strong though, with how it just obliterated vision, so... Them upping the cooldown from 40 to 50 is pretty good. When a ranged champion using Umbral Glaive attacks a ward, they will deal two true damage to it instead of 3 as melees do, and they're still going to continue to do. So for a pink, it's going to take 2 hits, which it took anyway. But for a regular ward, you can't one-shot it, you have to 2-shot. So not only is the cooldown going up, you're going to need to 2-shot it. I don't think this is going to take ADC Marksman out of the support role, but this is definitely a good first step. But God, they need to cut that shit right fucking now. The fact that, like, if this is the only change towards, like, Marksman support, this is sad, because, again, Riot doesn't care. Riot does not care about ADCs. Umbral Glaive will no longer instantly kill traps, but it will still reveal them. Cool. Alright, what about the runes? Overheal. So Overheal was supposed to come in 13.2, but because they micro-patched it, it was held back. Overheal is stronger for everyone, especially stronger for Marksman because the rune is weak, and because players can hopefully opt into running it into games where they need extra durability. So basically, it's getting a buff from 5 levels onwards, especially for ADCs because they have very little max health. So now it's base values instead of scaling off your health values, which is really stupid to begin with, but hey, now it's better for ADCs. So maybe I might use it, maybe I might not. This combined with BT might actually give you a decent amount. I think BT gives you at least another 300 too. So I think that's like a good 600 health, which is, you know, almost worth like an item. At least in terms of like gold value. That's not bad. That's not bad. Alright, so let's see this. Right now, the solo queue meta is 2-to-1 range supports, which is just fine. But pro meta is more 20-to-1. League is at its best when there's a wide variety of champions to play and watch. Yeah, especially in the bot lane. Fucking Riot. We're buffing some melee supports to create some more variety in bot lane. Oh, like there wasn't enough already, right? We're committing to keeping an eye on gameplay health for everyone in the game long term, except ADCs. So if we go too hard or too soft here, we'll follow up as needed. So what are they doing? What are they doing to Ali? They're making his self-heal max health, which I guess is better, and the ally heal max health of Alistar's, which I guess is better. The Q mana cost is going down, and the magic damage is going up by a decent amount, but it's with AP, so why the fuck are you building AP on this cow? This is bad. But a buff is a buff. W, the cost is going down. The magic damage is going up with AP scaling. Again, don't build AP on him. What are you doing, Riot? The mana cost of the ult is going down by a decent chunk later, okay? And then the total magic damage is getting scaled up with AP. What AP items do you build on this fucker? This makes no fucking sense. I don't understand. But anyway. Okay, there we go. But anyway, yeah, I don't know what they're doing with Alistar. They are buffing him, but not in the ways I think that work. Okay, now we got Braum. So Braum is... I think he's in need of, honestly, desperate buffs. I think Braum is not too good. He came out, he was so cool, he was so unique. He was actually really strong, too. People took him in the solo lane. But now he kind of got relegated to a support who just blocks shit. He's not necessarily bad, but I feel like he's only ever going to get used in pro play. Excuse me. Whew. So what are they doing? So the amount of time you are not able to get his passive applied to you is now going down by 1 level. Or actually 2 later on. This is kind of ass. I mean, I guess it helps, but it's kind of ass. The cooldown of the Q is going down by 2 seconds early. That's actually really good. Holy shit. You can actually poke a little bit more with him. That's very nice. And his poke is hard to hit too, so I think it needs to be spammable. And then the W, the bonus armor, is getting literally doubled early. Wow. And early is when it matters the most, too. So that's a really good change. Holy shit. I think Braum should be almost sort of mini reworked into one of the supports that is the best at keeping the ADC alive. Ironically enough, one of the best people for that is Tom Kench, right? Which is sad, because he's supposed to be a demon. But, you know, Braum is literally like the guy with the big-ass shield, right? Who like is all about love and like doing good deeds, right? So like I really wish they would play more into the fantasy of Braum will protect you. Not he will help protect you, he will protect you. It's like Taric. Taric and Braum, in my eyes, should be the two like supports who protect the AD carry. Braum could sort of engage too, so can Taric, but it's hard. Like Taric's engage is hard to do, you have to waste flash, right? Braum's isn't that hard to do, you still kind of have to waste flash sometimes, but I would really love to see them delve more deeply into like Braum's whole fantasy of like using the shield and protecting people. I think they need to like follow more up with that. But anyway, not bad. Very not bad. Naughty Nautilus. The passive damage is going up. Okay, it's not bad. The mana cost of the W is going down. Okay, that's not bad. And then the shield strength is going up by Riot's favorite number, 10. That's not bad either. But not too good. And then the E, the magic damage of the E is going up by some AP scaling and some base damage by 20. Damn. Okay, so not bad. Again, you should never be building AP on Nautilus, but I guess you're going to get some extra value out of it when you get Baron Nashor. Fook. So it is what it is. I mean, it's a buff, but Nautilus buffs aren't too crazy. Braum's buffs are okay. Alistar buffs just don't make fucking sense to me. Pyke is kind of, in my eyes, a little crazy. I think he's one of the few engage supports that's actually still played because he's actually fun. Because you're the one who's doing the carrying, even though you're also still helping your team. So what are they doing? The E, the Phantom Undertow, is getting a damage buff by a decent amount later. Holy shit. 25 to 65 is what, a good 40? It's not bad. It's not bad at all. Rakan I feel like is really shit. I've seen him played in pro play a little bit, but overall I think he's really fucking bad. But let's see what they're gonna do to him. The cooldown of the Q is going down by 1. The mana cost is going down, and the heal is going up. I think the heal going up is probably the most impactful thing here, aside from cooldown. I don't really know his mana cost, although I do see Rakan out of mana a lot, so maybe everything here is impactful, honestly, now that I'm thinking about it. But overall, I mean, the Q is not like anything crazy in the kit. It's literally a single target skill shot that will do okay poke damage and will heal for a moderate amount. The heal isn't even that good, honestly. I mean, it's something, but it's not that good. The W is really what I want to see change. So the W is going down in base damage. Okay, it was already hard enough to hit. They made sure to see that with all the nerfs they did in the past. And then the AP scaling is going up. You should not be building AP on this guy. Okay, anyway. On to the Chain Warden, the guy they are setting up extremely in the lore. What do I think of Thresh? I think Thresh is really good. He is probably one of the highest skill capped supports in the game. Blitz is obviously the simplified version of him. Thresh is like the one where if you are like a god at Thresh, it can show and you can do a lot. A good Thresh can like almost pseudo carry games. Obviously not with damage, but just with setup, with just like all the plays he could do. Thresh is so versatile if you're good at him. However, engage supports are not really good right now. I think they need to play more into Thresh's fantasy of the souls. They need to give him like what they did with A-Soul. They need to make it so the more souls you get, the more of a bonus you get to your abilities. Like your Q gets more cooldown reduction if you hit it, so you can non-stop chain warden people. That way you live up to your title, the Chain Warden, right? Your W, obviously the shield increases, it already does that. The E, you get more like, well, it already does that too. So maybe we're not too far off, but I think they need to play more into it. But anyway, they need to buff Thresh. Thresh can be so good, but he's so bad right now. So let me guess, are they buffing his AP? Oh my god, they are. They're buffing his base damage too, though, but holy shit, that AP scaling. Thresh's AP ratios can be interpreted as 0.8 damage per soul unless you're going AP Thresh, but you do you, friend. Oh my god. Okay, but this is a good thing to point out, though. You do get AP from Thresh's soul, so you are technically infinite scaling, and you're getting free damage. So him getting AP scaling is actually pretty fine, actually. Actually, this is not bad. So the shield per soul on the W is going down. That's kind of sad. And then the Flay is now going... Same note applies here. This will result in a 0.6 damage per soul. I think they fucked this part up because it's saying the original value right here, but it's not showing the scaling here. Unless it's going to 80 as well, but I think they forgot to put that. I think someone fucked up here. So I don't know what the AP scale is, but I'm assuming they're increasing it because the base damage didn't change. So overall, yeah, Thresh is going to do more damage, which honestly, fuck it. Good, he's the Chain Warden. Let him do it. So they're also changing Tenacity. This is going to get very complicated. So the way they do Tenacity is a little weird in League of Legends. So, like, different sources have different interactions with each other. Some are multiplicative, some are additive. And no matter how much tenacity you get from both sources combined, a CC cannot be less than 0.3 seconds. So I think they're going to simplify it here. Over the years, tenacity sources has increased dramatically. We want to streamline how these effects interact with each other as a cleanup to an old system and provide some clarity. With these changes, almost all tenacity effects will stack multiplicatively net weaker together, as opposed to previous system where various systems sometimes stacked extremely well to nullify them. So tenacity sources within the same group will stack multiplicatively, tenacity sources from separate group will stack additively. So here are the groups. Yeah, I don't really know what this does. So you know what? I don't know. I'm assuming this is making tenacity a little bit worse, which honestly, I feel like tenacity was also a kind of sleeper OP thing, but whatever. Oh my sweet Jesus Christ, how much more is there? I still haven't eaten my dinner. And we're 46 minutes in. Now that we've had a chance to let preseason jungle changes settle into place, we've got a more accurate picture of where the role currently stands and what needs to be changed. Our main goals with this time around is to bring down early ganking diving power and shifting some power from gold income to experience earned. And ultimately, they're just nerfing early game. Okay. This won't be the last follow-up changes because it never fucking is, because they never know how to fix things. But anyway, they're going to try and look, and then, you know, they're confident in what they're doing, as they're always saying. So what are they doing? The gold per target is going down. Experience per jungle camp with a companion has been increased. So you're getting less gold and more experience. That's fine. Fuck. So treat income currently rewards champions that gank more than champions that prefer to farm. Ideally, both playstyles are viable. Yeah, right, no. Ganking far outpaces farming 9 times out of 10, so I don't know what they're saying here. Vision. Early vision has proven to deter early ganks in the past. While we don't want to go back to giving teams permanent map visibility, we do think some extra vision will help curb the amount of early ganking. So Stealth Ward. Oh, wow, they're actually changing Stealth Ward. Going from 240 to 210. Wow. That's actually a huge change. Vision will make all the difference if your skill is good enough. Not bad. Ganking success. With the same intent of deterring the large amount of early ganks, we're upping early tower damage. Thank the fucking Lord. So 162 to 182. Not much, but hey, it's honest work, probably. And they're buffing it slightly later. So, compared to previous seasons, jungle companions are bringing a lot more burst damage into the game, particularly against epic monsters. Jungle companions no longer deal lethal damage to epic monsters. Interesting. Okay, so I guess you're going to do slightly less damage to the epic ones, which is red buff, blue buff. I think that's it. Oh, no. The big ones, so like Grompulus, the Merc Wolf, and the Big Raptor. Honestly, that's fine. Clash update. Clash has been delayed because Riot has been social attacked. Competitive. Okay, so I'm actually going to read this. This one's good. Our data shows that comeback rates when a team fails a 4 out of 5 early surrender are low. Well, yeah, because mostly the team is just mental boomed and they don't even want to play anymore. A lot of games in NA are winnable. It's just the teams don't want to win it, and if they don't surrender, they get even more Omega boomed in the mind, and they just really don't even want to play the game, and they troll. Teams have a generally good sense of what games they will and won't win, that they choose to. 4 of 5 players are on the same page. We'll be testing a change to the surrender thresholds that let these matches resolve more quickly. It's important that a winning team has time to feel powerful. Yeah, because at this point, if the enemy team is just stomping you, you're just going to surrender and they're just not going to have fun. The enemy team and you, when you're doing good, are not going to be given the option of having fun and actually getting rewarded for your skill. Which in a game where you shun other people is very important. Same thing with Call of Duty. Call of Duty random pub lobbies where that one guy has like 3 AC-130s and is literally holding the nuke because he just wants to kill you more. Like, it's ridiculous. But anyway, in blind pick, normal draft and normal surrender is now available at 15 minutes. The MMR duo restrictions for Apex ranks have been re-enabled. Made matchmaking adjustments for faster normal blind pick queue time. So, I mean, this is good, but it doesn't apply to ranked, which means it doesn't apply to me, which this fucking sucks. Hopefully it does so good they put it into ranked. Behavioral systems. So they took out AFK in practice tool. I don't know why I was in there to begin with. Quality of life changes, I don't fucking care. And there's a lot of them. Alright, and finally the skins. So we have Heartache Amumu, and we have Heartthrob Kaylin, and Heartache Vi. So I guess Heartthrob is the one we're supposed to go for. That's like the good girl. And then Heartache is like the punk, like the one that's like, you know, gonna break our heart, I guess, you know, albeit with the Heartache name. Overall, I guess these skins are alright. The Kaylin one looks really good. Amumu one looks pretty good. Vi is kind of whatever. I think Vi has better skins. But I don't know the effects because, again, rest in peace, Surrender 20. But overall, that's the patch. I'm going to give this one... Honestly, they did a lot of changes. Again, I would expect some of these like level of changes in like preseason and stuff. But this kind of means a bad thing. That Riot doesn't know how to balance their game. And they have a lot of problems to fix like every so often. But hey, I mean, it makes things interesting. So you know what? I'm going to give him a 7.5. I'm going to give him a 7.5 Mark Merrills out of 10 for this patch. It's pretty interesting. ASOL got in. Ari's stupid thing got in. And everything else kind of is just, you know, them trying to fix problems they have with the game, which I commend them for. No AD changes aside from slightly nerfing ADCs as supports, which is good. Again, step in the right direction, but I want to see more. But overall, 7.5 out of 10 Mark Merrills. I hope everyone enjoyed, and you can watch me live at Twitch TV/Tecnics channel. I stream pretty much every day. Come hang out and not be lonely with me.